Kev from TDN. Today we've got Colin here from Woodpecker. Colin's here to go through the Heatsabres, some stuff he's had designed, what he's built himself for both the BTAG and the Woyo Hotbox machines. We're going to concentrate today solely on the BTAG Hotbox. The Heatsabres are made for both the Woyo and the BTAG Hotbox, so it doesn't change anything. It's just mainly the aesthetics of the box itself. It doesn't change the performance in any way. But what we'll do, we'll concentrate today on the BTAG versions.
Okay. Well, for those that are familiar with using the Hotbox machine to start with, the biggest problem is you can only get this far from the Dent because you need to be able to touch this button to make it work. So I made these so that you can get another 400mm further away from the Dent.
So these are 400 and 600.
They're 400mm long and 600mm long. Because of I've made various modifications to this over the years, and I found that you don't always use it in a right-handed format.
On a rail.
You certainly don't want the V sight, because when you're using it, you will look along the V sight. And if I'm using it in a right hand, I need to cock that just slightly that way, so I can look down it like this.
So you're maintaining the field of vision.
So I'm using that field of vision, and when I'm putting it on the Dent, I can still see through that V. When I'm using it in a left-handed version, I need to turn that this way and still be able to see through the sight V. You're not always going to be with your head up here and being able to touch the switch here. Occasionally you'll be working on the top of a rail or something, and you might have your arm in some awkward position, and it might not be comfortable to have your finger or your thumb on this button here. So we can turn this at this point to turn it on the side or even underneath, and still be able to operate the machine.
So it just makes it a lot more ergonomic.
It just makes it ergonomic, comfortable to use, and you know.
And all the same features are on both the 600 and the 400.
Yes.
For this.
And also the same is true for the BTAG versions and for the Woyo version.
What we've got displayed here is a number of different cables, some quite good ergonomic factors in these cables, been very well thought out. Very high quality. The aluminium hotbox, the steel hotbox, or the Woyo machines as well. They're all going to work with these cables.
Woyo also have an aluminium machine now.
They do. Have you?
I've not tried it on it, but as far as I'm aware, they use the same connectors and it should still work. So
why would we need extra cables? Well, quite simply, this is the standard cable from the BTAG machine, just a little over a metre, maybe 1.2 metres long. The problem I've seen in the field is obviously a lot of these guys have, or you guys have the machines mounted on a cart. You're working on a rail. It means you've got to have your cart 1.2 metres maximum away from where you're working. So what Colin's come up with is some extensions.
So the female connector is basically to join two cables together, making a longer cable obviously. It has a lock on it, which when you put it on the end of one of the connectors, lock that together, and it will not come off. So if you happen to be dragging that along the workshop floor or something, it's not going to come disconnected without you unlocking it again, like so. You can use that to employ your existing 1.5 metre existing cable with any of the other longer cables.
So we have the 3 metre, the 5 metre and the 9 metre cables, just so you're aware. This one here, we'll talk about this in a little more depth in a second. So that's the female to female connector. So making your existing cable out just a little bit longer. So let's move on to, in fact, let's go on to this one here now. What would be the main purpose of this, Colin?
Well, the cart cable was designed because if you are having this sat on your toolbox or something, and you're at the other end of your 3 or 5 metre cable working away happily, and you inadvertently get too far from the machine, you could end up dragging that onto the floor, and that's an expensive mistake. So I designed this so that you can plug that into your machine and screw that to the cart, so that when you plug your normal cable into here and you get to the end of the cable, it's not going to pull your machine onto the floor.
Okay, so you could also have several boxes set up and then just switch
Yep.
that between.
You could,
so
yes,
you've got,
absolutely,
so
yes.
it's,
Yeah.
and then so essentially what you're doing there then is taking this and just putting it remotely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So
yes.
you could.
Exactly.
Could you? Could you put them in a vented box?
Yes.
Yes, as long as there's
Yeah,
a bit of airflow around them.
Yeah.
I mean, do the machines get particularly hot?
Not particularly hot, but
You still
I
want some
would.
good ventilation around.
Let's face it. In a lot of hail situations, we're working in
Yeah.
hot weather, and I would always try and keep the maximum ventilation around them. Just because we may not feel heat around here, but the actual
Yeah.
microprocessors might get quite hot inside.
So yeah. So I'm just looking at the all of the adapters here. They're actually are they the same?
Yes, yeah.
So
all of the connections I've got on here are original equipment for BTAG. They're made by Neutrik in Switzerland.
Okay.
And they're absolutely top quality things.
And then looking at the cabling as well, I mean, you can tell just by the feel of these, you know, it's all top quality. So
They are all very thick conductors in there that are well over the job. They're kind of over-engineered, really.
Okay.
They're certainly never going to become hot or anything like that, because you can buy cheaper cables with smaller conductors,
Yeah.
but if you're using them with any length of
Constantly,
time, they could end up becoming hot.
It's
and
like
even
having
dangerous.
an amplifier, isn't it? It's always better to have a more powerful amplifier
Of
turned
course,
down
yeah.
than a smaller amplifier turned back up. So, you know.
These are also screen cables, just like the original equipment one, which will remove noise from TVs or radios or anything like that that can happen with electronic gadgets.
Okay, that's okay. So that's the cart cable. So all these are available separately. So let's now. I've just got the 9 metre cable here. First thing I've noticed, we have a 9 metre cable with 2 straight connectors, and we have a 9 metre cable with 1 straight and 1 right angle connector.
Okay.
So
that is basically because some people, when they're using the hotbox head itself, prefer the cable to be trailing down their arm. So we're using it like this, as opposed to having the connector coming straight out, and then you end up with a curl of cable. So it's just ergonomics, really.
but if you were using one of the Sabres, you wouldn't want that connector at all, would you?
If you were using a Heatsabre, then you would want a straight connector in the end of that. It doesn't make any sense to have a right angle connector in the end of that.
You just,
if you do happen to have a straight and right angled cable, what you could do is put the straight end in the Heatsabre and the right angled end in your cart cable.
Okay. Or straight into the box itself.
Or straight into the box itself, yeah.
So I suppose really then it just purely depends on whether or not you are the owner of, and you should be, the owner of the Sabre, or whether you prefer to use the pen directly then, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's the, so we will actually stock both the right angled and the straight connectors on the website. So, but say if anyone's got any questions, as always, ask in one of the comments below, or contact myself or Sam. We're going to actually run off and do some actual demonstrations, so we can see. It's all good and well us talking about them here, but see it in the flesh is going to help anyone make up their minds if they are sitting on the fence with these connectors. So once again, thanks to Colin, and pay attention to our next videos, and we'll show these in action. Please visit www.tdntools.com, or why not subscribe to our YouTube channel to see many more reviews like this of latest tools.